Oh, it's a cold one out here today, folks. There's a lot of ice. Today's not a normal horror stories. I have some news to share, but we'll get to that at the end. Last time we talked about fresh starts, onboarding, new jobs, all that fun excitement. Today we're going to talk about the sour ending. We're going to talk about awful onboarding and fun exit interviews. So here's our first response, and this comes from Reddit from user EastyBets. My previous CFO insisted on talking to me after I took a new position and told me I should have gone over my boss's head to him directly to ask for a raise. This is a completely ridiculous expectation for a staff level employee to jump over the controller to the CFO over pay. I did tell the CFO that my controller said he couldn't hit my number and to look elsewhere, and that money was the only reason I was leaving. He wasn't aware that I had been requesting a raise for almost 6 months. We've got a controller managing some, probably some intermediate entry-level accountants, and we've got our CFO, and so you've got this kind of multi-level ladder happening on this team. Employees going to the controller, their manager, saying they want a raise. That person is just making a call. They're not talking to their boss. Doesn't sound like they talk to HR or anyone, really. This is a classic example of bad communication, bad policy, and poor process when it comes for people asking for a raise or really this compensation review. So if there had been probably a structure for an annual or biannual compensation review or adjustment with something laid out around what could happen for expectations and what can happen around off-cycle adjustments, this probably wouldn't have happened. This team wouldn't have lost a good employee whose only reason for leaving was they just wanted some more money. And I'm sure that CFO probably wouldn't have had a conversation with that controller about why the hell did they not tell them that there was an employee on their team who was ready to leave, who's this huge retention risk. Again, classic example of bad communication. Maybe there wasn't one once happening with the CFO and the controller. Maybe there were, maybe this never came up. But if you have a process with a compensation philosophy that people can see in the organization, and you've got bi-weekly conversations happening between managers and executives and all these things, and this type of stuff doesn't happen. You don't lose good employees over something silly like low pay. It's really just like, it's a no-brainer. Not Boehner. Brainer. No brainer. It's silly to lose someone over like a 10% raise because it's going to cost a whole hell of a lot more to replace them. So we've got another perspective, similar tale, on the other side of things. We had a great employee leave. We asked him to do an exit interview, and it turned out he left because of the low pay. He took an entry-level position elsewhere, making more money. My boss took this interview and used it as justification for why our wages needed to be raised. We finally got the rate raised for all existing and new hires. He'd been trying to get the raises before he left, but thankfully, he was able to help her get everyone else raises. So it didn't help him, but the exit interview can be valuable. This is an awesome response of why every organization should be doing exit interviews and why that information needs to actually be used and actioned on, because there's so much good, valuable, juicy things in there that managers and people teams and even finance can use to make things better for their organization. If you're losing great, talented people because of pay or benefits or bad vacation or a bad manager, then you can do something about it if you see it in the exit interview. So don't ever skip this super crucial moment. And if you're the one leaving the organization and you're invited for an exit interview, I really encourage you to be as honest as possible. There's really no downside. I mean, there could be a little one if you don't already have another job lined up. But if you already have another job lined up and you don't need the reference, be as honest as possible. Be kind about it. Don't be an asshole. But tell them how it really is. Because, most HR teams do want to know. They want to know what it's like because we can't know everything. So, great story, great use of an exit interview. I applaud this manager. That's a good manager. That's a great manager who's like, I'm not gonna let this happen to the rest of my team. And they went and fought for the raises that they deserved. T-Bone Jenks responded with, I've done one exit interview, raked him over the coals on my way out, but his incompetence wasn't a secret. I'm assuming he's talking about his manager. I just made it known he was the main reason. He got promoted a few years later, and the actual productive people were laid off. They probably already know the issues and don't care. So this is the other side of the exit interview where you share all of the information and nobody does anything about it. about it. A couple of things could be happening here. One, you got an incompetent HR team. Two, you got an HR team that's completely hamstrung by executive leadership, doesn't give them any power, won't let them do anything, and they just really like this person, and so they get to stay. This is not how you do business. But we all see it. We've all been in that position where you see the person who does the least amount of work, but is the I'm going to say the friend of the upper guard. They're the ones that get promoted. They're the ones that get all the good projects. They're the ones that get all the juicy perks. The rest of the team that's actually carrying the weight, gets disenfranchised. They either get laid off, or they leave, or they just stop working. And people wonder why engagement is at a historic low in Canada and the US. Like it is abysmal. I think we're at like 20-30% at this point in time. If you're watching this and that's happening to you, yeah, get the hell out of there. If you see a team member who's getting everything and you're the one doing all the work, A, stop doing all the work. Only do what you need to do. B, try and find another job ASAP. And C, if you really like the company, really like the team, really try and work with HR, and you'll know real quickly which HR team you've got. If it's the incompetent one or the hamstrung one. If it's the hamstrung one, they'll be honest with you and probably tell you how hamstrung they are. And if it's the incompetent one, they'll do everything they can to protect the incompetent employee. So make some decisions, move on, stop killing yourself for somebody else. It's not what you should be doing. This one comes from Vagrant123. This is about an exit interview. If you think it'll actually change something on the way out, an exit interview won't hurt you. But a Glassdoor review certainly won't be a problem. This is, one of those things where employees still have a little bit of power when they leave, in that they can say what is really happening on Glassdoor. You can share your real perspective there without getting in any trouble. Companies can assume and make assumptions about who left that post and why, but they can't do anything about it, right? Legally, they can't do anything about it, and they can't prove that it was you. If you feel like you can't be honest in that exit interview, Glassdoor is a great place to leave some feedback. Try and get some of that information across to the HR team, because they do care about Glassdoor. People do care about Glassdoor reviews because it is still used to date. And if there is a terrible rating at an organization, people take that seriously. That is one card you have in your back pocket as an employee, and as an HR person, don't ignore Glassdoor. I will say, as someone on the other side of things, I really dislike the user experience on Glassdoor. Glassdoor, if you're watching, make it better. This is a bonus one. Usually don't do 5. Normally how we do this is our marketing team, we get responses coming in through the email. They go to Reddit, they go to social media, and they pull out some great stories. And so this one I haven't read yet. The instructions here are like, do not read ahead of a recording, and then read while recording, and erase the black marks so that I can read it live. So this is my first time reading this one. User Guusto employees shared some thoughts. As we've seen on this show, good leadership is scarce. Caring, bold, empathetic, and honest leadership is once in a blue moon. Noah, you've fostered a workplace of genuine trust and appreciation. You've constantly made us feel heard and valued. Your guidance has meant the world to the entire team. Thank you for leading with integrity, intention, and concern. Thank you for being Guusto's blue moon. You're a real one, Noah. Excuse me. Thank you. It's thank you. So if you haven't realized at this point, this is my last employee horror stories, and I'm moving on from Guusto, but this was a special place to be. And the people that I got to work with, I'll never forget them. And often on the HR side of things, we don't always hear the appreciation for the things that we do. So thank you for living up to our values of recognizing folks, and these kind words mean the world to me. Thank you for letting me be the blue moon, as you said. All right, so comment below with your own horror stories, or send them in to horrorstories@guusto.com. And with that, this is it. This is my last one, but you're going to be in great hands moving forward. Julia, who I know because she does a lot of our other social media, is going to be taking over this segment. And she's going to be way better at it than I am. But I just want to wish everyone out there an amazing employee experience. And to all of my HR folks out there who watch this, keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing. I see you, whether they say it or not. There is a whole group of employees that see you. What you do is so important. And for every employee out there, whether you are a part-time customer support representative or you're the CFO and everyone in between, your job matters. The impact that you have matters. And I really, really hope someone is saying thank you for the work that you do every day. So keep your head down, keep working hard, and thank you for watching this show, for tuning into my rants. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you to my amazing Guusto team. And that's it. We're done. We're going away now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.